Hello and welcome to Breaking Even, a SuperCoach podcast with amateurs stay amateurs. I'm your host Huss. Here with me today is Mus, Jung, and Chev. And today we'll be discussing premium selection and rookie selection. Let's get into the podcast. And we'll be discussing our defense premiums with Chev. Let's get right into it. Chev, who do you reckon would be a great selection for our premiums?
Premiums, mate. Defense, you got to go with the usual suspects, don't you, from last year?
Yeah,
you got the top 4 or 5 there that I, personally for my teams, Chef Soldiers, been looking into. Obviously, Tom Stewart has to be there.
He would be very remarkable.
His role might change a little bit this year. That's my only concern with Jack Bowes coming in. Generally he takes a lot of the kickouts for Geelong. But, in saying that, his strength is, his inset marks and his, kicking efficiency. Scoring wise, I think if he stays fit, he's going to be up there. Dawson as well. Talks of him moving into the midfield a bit this year.
Yes, I've seen that too.
So that's only going to elevate his score, I think. So definitely going to look at that. The other one who I didn't have last year, Doherty.
Yes, from the Blues, after Baggers.
Yeah, so I had my doubts on him last year. With obviously his health conditions and his challenges there. But he killed it, especially his last 4 or 5 games. Dominated, scoring really high. Can't see that changing. From all reports, from what I've seen, he's had a good preseason. Fit, he's going to be leading the Blues, within the leadership team. So, mate, I think you've got to have him in there as well.
What about you,
mate? What are you looking at?
I'm definitely be selecting Tom Stewart this season. I think he's very, very much up for it.
He's the man from last year.
He was my man for last season, really helped me out in the back line. So I reckon he will be in the season top 6, definitely for premiums.
Also about Doherty as well, there's no Zach Williams.
Zach Williams to help him out, that's very true, yes. And Dawson will be a very good selection for the Crows as well. And with the premium selections, let's go straight with Mus for the midfields.
My player, this was my first selected. Obviously, for me, is Rory Laird. Most expensive player. A lot of people are saying his price is going to come down. But I think that if you don't have him in your team, it's going to be pretty crucial. You're going to get hurt really bad.
I think it will damage a lot of players that don't have him.
There's really not many players that's come into that Adelaide team that's going to affect his scoring from last year. So that's why I think for him, like me, he's an absolute lock.
I totally
must have
agree.
lock. Is going to be captain option every week in, week out.
Great captain option or vice versa. Whenever the Crows are playing. 100%.
What's your thoughts on that one?
For the most expensive player in the comp, there's a reason why he's there. He only played 20 games out of the 22 last season. Obviously, Sloan wasn't there. Obviously, he was injured. But with him coming back, I think his role will be slightly altered. And Laird does the 1%ers. Goes to the tackles. He's elite for percentages. What's called the disposals at 27. So that's very elite level. I definitely agree. You guys?
Well, Laird, I don't have Laird in my team at this stage here. Because I think he's 709,000. That's way too much. And he's going to be a year older, no injuries, so which is good. But it's a bit iffy. I don't know if I will have him yet or not. However, I think one premium or ex-premium who is on the low at the moment is Dangerfield.
Patrick, and he got announced today that he will be Geelong's next captain.
He's going to be the captain. He's going to step up. He had a bad year last year. It was 80,
he wasn't the greatest.
Average 84. Still played 15 games or so. So they might manage him again this year. But I think his scoring is going to be a lot better than what his price is. So for me, he has to be in everyone's midfield.
So what's Dangerfield's position? Is it a midfield as well, was it? And forward, or?
He's only a midfielder.
Only a midfielder, Okay.
No DPP this year.
Well, what will be fun now, DPPs in round 6. So throughout the season, when they start rolling and get the games in, we'll be happy to see where they all roll.
I think just on Laird, for me, it's 709,000. Like, for me, the only players I'm comfortable paying 700 plus is Ablett. Right?
And he's no longer there.
Potentially gone. I think they're the only 2 that stick out in my mind.
Yeah,
he had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic. A lot of things went right for him. no injuries. Play a lot in the midfield. He's a great tackler. Kicking efficiency, handball efficiency is great. Can he back that up? Yeah, like you were saying, a year older, Sloan coming back, Dawson going to the midfield. What does that do with his scoring?
Yes, so, the team structure has changed.
Like Jung, I haven't got him on my team yet, but like if he backs it up, you have to have him in. Like you said, he's a must. So yeah, it's a strange one. It's gonna make or break a few teams, I reckon, this year. Starting with him or starting without him. So be interesting to see. But Danger's an interesting one. Like for me, if he's fit, if he's even 90% fit, I think you gotta back him in.
He still has that running carry as well. I saw him playing the Hawks, and he had that running carry, and he's just elite level.
Yeah, and you look at the Geelong midfield, like Selwood's older, you know. He's not going to do much, He's pretty much past it. Who else is in there, So he's going to carry a lot of the load.
Will Dangerfield be in my final team at the end of the year? Probably not. Will Led be in my final team at the end of the year? Probably yes.
Most likely yes.
But will Led start in my team this year? And probably no. Danger will start. So it's just a matter of when to bring them in and when to take them out of your team. I think that's the key.
With that being the case, so you can't see Laird going 115, 120 plus week in, week out? Can you see him averaging less than that?
No, he probably could. But it depends on what you're willing to risk for it, right? So if you think that 709 is the peak of it, and he potentially can, and I'm going to talk more about this later with another player, but if you can wait until round 8, round 9, whatever the case, where potentially his price will most definitely drop, okay, and hoping that he doesn't score high, then you're going to get him at value at round 8, round 9, whatever the case is, right?
Or even after buys as well will be a great option.
And then, so if you get him at value, then you're probably going to be ahead of a lot of other teams because you're going to make that extra cash.
Yes, that's very true.
However, if you, like Will said, if you don't bring him in at the start and then he starts scoring an averaging of 115, 120, 125, then you're probably done for the year.
For him to maintain his 709, he's going to have to score massive. So he's going to drop in price. Just a matter of, if he has a couple of quiet games, gets tagged, he's going to drop 100k.
I'm not expecting him to stay at the 700 mark, but I think he will drop to maybe mid 650s or so. But you're losing $50,000, but you still got that premium there.
And a VC
don't have
option.
To upgrade later on.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. Well, how do you guys feel about Clayton Oliver for a midfield selection, guys?
For me, he's a lock as well.
Definitely, I've got him in my side as well.
I can't go without him in my team.
I also don't. I'm not starting with Oliver as well.
Wow.
So but team isn't final. But at the moment, I don't have him in my starting lineup. I think the top price player in my midfield is Mills at the moment.
Mills, from the city.
But so I don't have Oliver as well, and I feel like it's the same thought process with Oliver as it is with Led, without the age thing, but it's just hoping for some really low games at the start to get some value later on.
Shep, will you be starting Oliver this season?
Yeah, he's one of my favourites. I've had him for the last few years. He's very reliable. Grundy coming in as well.
He'll be fit more.
He's going to get him and Petrarca will get silver service again. I mean, regardless with Gorn in there or Grundy, but so I think having both Laird and Oliver is risky because there's choose up loading your bank, but gotta go with Oliver. For me at the moment, I've got Oliver in, but just got to see how balanced my team is, and then make a decision.
No worries. Any other players that we could consider for midfield premiums?
There's a lot of talk about Zach Merritt.
Yes,
got the captaincy now.
Yes, from the Bombers.
Is that going to cause too much pressure on him? And affect his game, or is it going to make him improve his game and go to the next step?
I feel like it would improve him. How do you feel about it?
I'm on the fence with him now. I don't have him in my team. Although I'll probably wish I had the money to get him in my team. Him and Parrish as well. But I think there's years with him with Merritt where he goes really high and then he comes back down and then that's the time to get him. He's done it the last couple of seasons.
Yes, that's correct.
I think that might be the case this season. I'm hoping so I can jump on him again.
You guys will be starting Merritt this season or not?
I have Parrish. over Merritt.
Yep.
So if any of the Bombers midfield, he'll be Parrish.
I do feel like both of them would probably end up in M8 in some sections. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one for later. Just got to sort of see how Essendon's unknown. New coach, there's a lot of new players coming in, and who knows what Brascott's going to do with that team. So captaincy, see how that weighs on him. So for me, like, it's post-buy, maybe if he's still doing well, get him in. The doggies are interesting this year. Disappointing last year as a team. Dunkley leaving, Bont's going to be Bont self. McRae had a really bad season, McRae-wise.
They'll have to pick up these CBAs now.
He's, decently priced.
Yep.
He's normally close to six, high sixes.
650, I think he's worth, or 650.
No, he's lower this year. Because he had, pretty poor season. I reckon he'll bounce back. So, those two, I reckon. At the moment, they're probably going to go in my team. But,
Bont?
Yeah, Bont for sure. Yeah.
I'll definitely be starting Bont
and
myself
probably McRae as well.
There is talk about McRae moving to the forward line, in and out, the mid and forward.
Rotate.
So it will affect his score if that is the case.
You reckon McRae?
There is a lot of talk about that.
Well, Dunkley, when he was there last season, he would move up forward as well, wouldn't he, eventually? So I think McRae may be having to pick up that role as well.
I can't really see him playing forward. Like, he's not a good kick.
Yeah, he's not a good kick. He's fairly small.
So,
he's
the mastermind is Luke Beveridge, so we don't know how he's going to go. He always stuffs around for a lot of SuperCoach teams. But we'll see how it goes.
I think McRae was... I don't think I've ever had McRae in my team except for last year.
Yep.
I think I've been pretty stubborn in not getting him in my team.
You got him all the time.
And then I brought him in last year, and he did one of his worst years of the premium.
The curse has been struck.
Far out. So now I feel like I'm not going to bring him in.
No dramas.
I want to stick with Bont.
Yep.
All the way.
Let's set up the Suns' way for Took Miller. How do you guys feel about him?
Well, injury concerns.
Yes.
So is it a risk paying over $600 for someone who's not going to have a pre-season?
Yeah, it's very true. Are you guys?
If it was $600, I'll buy him.
I would have bought him in a heartbeat as well, that's for sure.
I think he'll be alright. Look, he's probably the fittest player in the comp.
Yep.
So his preparation and how he goes about it will be fine. I think missing interrupted preseason won't affect him. But like, how can he fit all of them in, mate? The midfield is like a real big boys kid, fat kid in a candy store kind of thing.
Exactly.
So
that's
so many to choose from. What are you going to choose? We got Mills as well is another one that we can put in, and there's so many options. So
did Wicks have a full season last year?
Yeah.
Wicks did.
He did.
And he looked really good during his practice matches as well.
But I was just talking about like the service that he was going to get from Ruckman. But he played.
Did you want to bring up Callum Mills or?
No, I think Mills is going to produce you what he normally does.
I think he will be ending up in an M8 as well position.
For me, he's going to get better. Like
he's going to get better.
He's still relatively young as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and he previously, I think maybe even a couple of years, maybe not last year, but a few years ago, he was defence, right?
Yep.
So he probably is only starting to learn how to play as a midfielder in the last, really high quality midfielder in the last couple of years. Yeah, so he's going to get better. All right, so he's gonna. I think that they talk about, and I'm gonna really just regurgitate some stuff that I don't know about. Is they're gonna talk about running patterns and everything, right? So he's gonna learn how to run without the ball, find the ball. So he's only gonna get better. So he's priced at, I think, low 600. I think from memory.
Yep.
And potentially start of next year he could be sitting in the position of Rory Led or a
high selection for sure.
For next year, so that's why I think he has to be in everyone's team as well.
Josh Kennedy retired as well.
Yes, that's correct.
It's a big gap there, so he's got to. He's the.
Him, Parker, and Chad Warner might have to step up.
That's the one I wanted to speak about from Sydney. Chad Warner. I think he's going to have an absolute breakout year this year.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to squeeze him in my team. I've just got to try making the adjustments to try to squeeze him in, but I would love to have him on my team. I think he's going to have...
I think he would be a point of difference for a lot of teams. I do like Chad Warner myself. He's not in my team. I'd like to see maybe the first couple of weeks on how he goes, and if he's going to be right up there, then I think a lot of teams will start to bring him in as well. Would there anything else, guys?
I think we can move on to the next.
Yeah, let's move on to the next position.
I think with midfield we can talk all day, so let's just...
let's just leave
the podcast. Let's just move on and we'll come back to it later on.
And let's jump straight into the premium rucks. Who would you be selecting as a premium ruck? You?
My number one selection on SuperCoach was Robert Marshall.
Yeah, I agree.
Not necessarily it was my number one, but it was just because I select Rucks first.
Yep.
So I went with Royal Marshall.
Yep.
He's cheap. He's like 506,000, I think, or something like that.
Yep. No 500s.
No Paddy Ryder. He's going to be the clear number one option.
Yep.
I don't think anyone else is even there to be the second option.
Yep.
Maybe one of the King brothers. Who's the one that's thinking of?
Max.
Max, is he going to play the Ruck?
He's injured as well.
He's injured.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Marshall's clear number one.
Jack Hayes as well. He's out with the knee. So.
Yeah.
Another.
But it's just a matter of if he can take that next step to hit averaging of a high hundreds, right? Because at the moment he's averaging high 90s.
Yep.
So it's just, do we think he can then take the next step?
Yep.
And I think that's probably the question mark. But at 500,000, averaging 98, 97, 100 is pretty good value.
Yep.
For me.
I'll definitely be having him in my side. How about you, Shep?
Yeah, he's a lock for me.
He's a lock for you for round one?
The Rucks are very different this year. There's no set and leave, you know?
Yeah, the
per se,
previous season.
Previously, Grundy gone. Maybe you can have an argument with Witts, but Witts got very lucky last year. I don't know how he didn't get injured.
He played really well
for him
this
to play
week.
for him to have another full season without interruption, it's a risk. Marshall, he's potentially a midfielder. I mean, he's got the tank. He can run all day, play forward, kick goals. No brainer.
Yep.
100% in my team.
How about you, Russ? You'll be selecting?
Yeah, I think everyone should have Royal Marshall in the team, and if you don't have him, get him in.
Yep, bring him in.
Because we know he can score high. It's just, as Jung said, he's got to be that consistent scoring. That's what we've got to get from him.
Yep.
But he should be a lock in everyone's team.
Yep.
Like Chef said, the Gorn Grundy used to be a lock.
Yep.
Now they're working together.
Yeah.
I don't think you should have any of them. That's
really?
my personal opinion.
Oh.
Two main rucks in one team.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be split, and you're not going to get the full points potential that you should be getting out of them for the money that you've been paying for them.
Even Grundy at 500, he's only 500,000 this year.
That's my opinion. That's why the way I see it is because he's not going to get the full-time ruck.
So would you like to see, as a SuperCoach person, like to see him for a few weeks and then see how he goes from there?
Yeah, any player you'll see like that. So any premium that was high up, and you got to watch him to see how they go. We got that first 3 rounds before the price changes. So if he starts absolutely destroying and get really good high numbers, then jump on him.
Just reading up on it, I think that obviously Gorn's going to play more forward. Gorn's more of a natural forward than Grundy. So Grundy will take most of the centre bounces, but I think like Mus said, you got to wait and see like what the percentages of them.
But Gorn can play back as well.
Gorn can play back as well.
Probably not as a full-time key backman, but he can roam back, take an intercept mark, which he normally does a lot. He's probably one of the better ones.
He can take other players deep balls.
So he could potentially play as that ruck back, and Grundy could be the ruck forward.
The Doggies game last year, remember? When he went back and took those intercept marks, he scored 100
so
in the last.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But Grundy as well, like he's come back from injury. He hasn't played all up, he hasn't played last year. So like, how's that gonna, it's a risk, but 500,000.
I'm not sure if you guys watched the practice game, but the way they had it going was Gorn come off, Grundy was on, so they were all just rotating.
Well, the last 2 major ruckmans that worked well together was Natanui and Cox. Right, and that year, I think there was 1 year that both made All-Australian.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
So it could work.
If it does.
However, but a segue into that is my Smokey is Nick Natanui.
Yeah?
My Smokey is Nick Natanui. Everyone over the years has always been pretty like gun shy about having Nick Nat in their team as the number 1 ruck, but he's got the scoring to back it up. Right? 110, 115, 120 average over the years, right? And the only concern for him is his injuries. Right. So last year he only played 8 or 10 games. The year before that he played a full season and he averaged 110. Right. Coming back from 2 knee recos.
Wow.
All right. So and last year, even in the 8 games, he still averaged like 95, 96. And he is the clear number one ruckman at West Coast.
What's his price at the moment, Neil?
500.
Like 500?
511, I think, something like that.
It's one to consider, guys.
So, there's two ways to look at it. If West Coast are going to get done as badly as everyone says they do, or will, then there's going to be a lot of centre bounces.
Yep.
And he's going to get a lot of those centre bounces, regardless of how the West Coast midfield plays. Right? So there's going to be a lot of goals kicked against. Okay? Or if West Coast change up the game plan, be quicker, more direct, means probably going to be more goals, then he's going to be in the centre bounce a lot.
He gets more opportunity.
He doesn't get a lot of stuff where it's like tap outs, or he does get tap outs, but a lot of his scoring is going to be in the contested possessions, the follow up, getting out of clearances. He averages like 6-7 clearances, I think, just from memory.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's going to get a lot of scoring. So he's a smoky. I might even have him in my team, but I'm a little bit biased when it comes to that.
Tim English, guys, are we going to consider that, or because of a bit of a tickle, he might not even play round one?
Tim English is a great selection. I started with him last year and was loving it. But then I was the kind of person that held on to him throughout all them injuries.
Yes.
That hurt me quite bad.
I'm
kind of scarred from him. At the start of this season, I did have him in, and then I heard he had an injury. I just took him out. I was like, I'm done. I've experienced this. I'm done. I can pick someone else.
No dramas. You guys? You starting English or not?
I think Tim English is going to be the number one ruckman by the end of the year.
Yep.
But will he be in my team? To start off with, probably not.
No.
581,000, I think 580,000.
Yep.
It's high. You know what I mean? So Royal Marshall is 506.
Yep.
So that's you know what I mean, a $70,000 difference, $60,000 difference. Is the scoring going to be that much difference?
Yep.
You know what I mean? We'll find out. But to start off with, no. To end the year, maybe.
No dramas.
Yeah.
Mark Blitzards, guys, are we going to be starting him?
Not for me.
Not for you, Chef?
Not for me. I think he had a really good season last year, but he plays everywhere. You know, he played back, midfield, forward, ruck. I think there's better options out there. English is one where, on paper, I think he looks great. He's the only ruckman at the club, probably. He's going to play there a lot of time, but can he play a full season? You know, I can't really trust him. I'm a bit scarred as well.
Games,
I got rid of him instead of keeping him.
Nice.
But then I got him back, and then he got injured again. So,
oh no! So the trades and the points are all.
Yeah, so I lost a lot of trades with him last year. But if he can play a full season, he's going to be, like you said, number one ruckman.
No dramas.
For me, I've got Lystead as my smoky.
Oh yeah, from Port. Yeah.
But he didn't play the last practice game. But from all reports, he's been doing all right preseason. He's pretty fit. You know, he's another one. You as a West Coast supporter will back me up. He's a great ruckman. You know, great player, very durable.
Yeah, he did play for West Coast at one stage, didn't he?
He's a premiership player.
Yeah. So and then at Finlayson was their number one ruckman last year. So you know, and they got Tickle, who's still a rookie young. So if he can play a full season, if he's fit, I reckon he's one to look out for. He's very cheap as well.
Yep.
Like 400s.
Wait, is Jack Hayes there?
Jack Hayes is St Kilda.
Oh, okay.
He's injured.
Is there another Hayes then?
Yeah, there is another Hayes.
Sam Hayes, but
Sam, is he the ruckman at Port then?
Nah.
A bit Tickle.
He'll be Tickle.
Yeah. Sam Hayes was a good cover last year for us, but then he dropped off, and then Hinkley didn't pick him. I don't know what it was.
But when he played though, he was good. Yeah, from memory.
It was okay.
If I'm thinking about if he was the Port Adelaide.
I think he is just a sole ruckman, so he's not really good kicking forward.
Yeah, because they the last 5 games, they used Finlayson as their ruckman.
Yeah.
So and he was fit, Hayes. So it's that's saying something.
No dramas. All right. Well, let's move into premium forwards. Who are you guys selecting and why?
You can start off with this one.
Yeah.
I think Taranto is a lock.
Yep.
In that forward line.
GWS.
Richmond,
mate.
He's got it.
Richmond. He is a forward mid, but he's probably going to play in that midfield.
Yep.
Majority of the time for Richmond.
You reckon up those CBAs for sure.
Yes, there's no other midfielder in that team besides from Dusty, right? And no one at that quality. There's only really them two. So he won't be playing forward a lot. And if anyone from that midfield is going to go forward, it's going to be Dusty.
Yep.
So I think he has to be in that team. at about 500. He thinks he's also 500, right?
Yep.
The big question is going to be around Dunkley.
Yep.
I think he's definitely going to be the number one forward by the end of the season, 100%. He probably will be, unless there's something dramatic that happens. However, I think, I feel like he may not start in my team
as well
for the season, purely because of what I was talking about, and this is who I was talking about. Is Dunkley going over to Brisbane? You would say, yes, he's going to score well. He's probably going to spend a lot of time in the midfield.
Yep.
And he's going to work with Neil, going to do well. However, going to a new team, new system, he's not going to have the likes of Bont, McRae, Treloar to help him out to be the number one or number two or even number three midfielder for Tigers to go towards. So he's going to either be the number one or number two. And the first 4 games, which I'll bring it up.
Yep.
First 4 games, I wrote some stuff because I knew I was going to forget it. With Dunkley, is he's playing Melbourne, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, and the Bulldogs the first 4 games.
Yep.
Last year he averaged in the games with Melbourne, 2 games, 92. Mm-hmm. He averaged 1 game, 78 against Port Adelaide, and against Collingwood he averaged 119. But career-wise, it's 92 against Collingwood, and he's playing Bulldogs as well. So that they're going to be at him. You know, they're going to be niggling him. They're probably not going to give him any space. That's his first 4 games.
Yep.
So I'm thinking trading me in round 7, round 8, which is Freo Carlton.
Yep.
After Freo Carlton, his games after Carlton are going to be up against Essendon, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Hawks.
Yep.
Average for Essendon 139 last year.
Big scores.
Average against Gold Coast 116, Adelaide 142, and Hawks 2 games 119.
Yep.
So bring him in at round 8. Hopefully his price has dropped. Okay, and then bring him in really cheap, and then he's going to get a really good stretch of games where he's up against teams where he's scored massive against.
Absolutely.
And brought him into a team where probably give him 8 weeks to settle with that Brisbane midfield.
Yep.
And then, hopefully, if all plans out, get him in cheap, get a head start on people who picked him up at the start of the season.
Okay.
That's my plan for now.
Yep.
I don't know. What you guys' thoughts are on that?
I'm going to contradict myself here. I did say you got to pay top dollar for lead, and then if he drops, you just got to wear it. But I'm not going to start with Dunkley. I'm going to agree with you. His price is going to drop, and then we keep picking him up later on.
Okay.
590,000 for a forward like Dunkley. He's gone to a new club. We don't know how he's going to work. He's a great player. I'm not prepared to pay that much yet.
Yep.
So once he drops I reckon he would drop to around 530, 540.
Yep.
Be prepared to pick him up then.
Prepared to do it then?
Like I said, like all the other premiums, we've got to watch and see how he goes as well.
Yep.
I'm hoping lower. I'm hoping low 500s. I'm hoping that he will drop low 500s.
I'll try to pick him up. Or maybe not even pick him up if he drops so low.
No, I think you have to pick him up eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, because he will eventually score high. He's proven it. He's proven, and he will be the number one. I feel like he will be the number one forward by the end of the year. Right? So you have to pick him up. But it's about, okay, when do you pick him up? Is the right time for mine.
Yeah. Any other?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of the stats, and I didn't have my team. So
one to consider.
I think the change in teams is a big one. So see how it goes in the first few rounds, and then you definitely need to bring him in at some stage. I think, but he's one of those players where he's not a very skillful player. He's just a hard worker. He tackles well. Disposal efficiency isn't great. Hard ball gets. That's where he scores his points. So I think in saying that, I reckon the transition will be alright for him. You've got Neil, got McCluggage there. Ashcroft's going to come in as well. So that midfield is, obviously not stacked like the Doggies, but he'll go in, he'll do his job. He's a very simple, old type player.
He won't play forward. That Brisbane forward line is stacked.
He's already set.
So we know that he's not going to play forward.
Yep.
So that's going to be a good thing eventually.
Yep.
So,
What's your thoughts on that one, on Dunkley?
I didn't know about the stats for Dunkley, which is very good to bring up, for the podcast. I think I will be going opposite to you guys, and I will be starting him. I'd rather set and forget, knowing that I've got someone that's premium. He's set. I don't have to worry about him. He might lose money, and I do think he will lose money throughout the season. But I think just having him there and set and forget, and I'm happy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on for another one. How about Connor Rosie, guys? How do you guys feel about him for the forward?
Connor Rosie. I think he's going to have a great year.
Yep.
I don't have him in my team.
Is he dual positions yet? Or
forward.
Just forward? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard. He's up and down. You can have a great game, and then next week you can just have a really quiet game. He did end the season quite well last year.
Yes.
But in saying that, he did drop down to almost 300,000 at one stage.
Yes. For a start, yeah.
Well, that's because his first 4 games were bad.
Yeah.
That's why. But then I think last 15 games was pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah.
So are you starting with him?
No. I don't have him in my team.
I don't have him in my team, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyone else that we can discuss, guys?
Butters is another one.
Zach Butters, that's correct.
Is he going to stand the park?
Yeah.
He's like a bull. He can get the ball.
Yeah.
Score well. Very injury prone at the same time. Again.
Yes. Another one to consider, definitely.
What about you guys?
Heaney?
No.
What about Heaney?
He's another one to bring up, yeah.
Heaney's just...
Probably his best Supercoach season last year.
Yeah,
but
even then it was just like... Some days...
Just waiting for him to score that 40 and do nothing.
So you can bring him in after that?
So, will he play more in the midfield next year?
Yeah, every season we say that. This is the season. He's going to play in the midfield. They go in. But then other players go in. Chat Warner goes in before him. Mills goes in before him.
But why isn't he not playing in the midfield? Is he just not fit enough? Like, if he can...
Could be the
they
case.
probably... I mean, they usually need him to kick goals too. Like,
that's what
got Agent Franklin there. Who else they got before? Like a Papley kicking goals. Yeah. But so a lot of the time he bails them out by kicking goals. Yeah. So...
No, but the forward line now has that other young kid from WA, the one they picked up a few.
Logan McLean.
No, Logan.
Logan McDonald. Yeah,
Logan McDonald, right? So he was picked up 2 years ago.
Better, yeah.
So he's going to be the next key forward, though.
Yep.
But I don't know. I think Heaney is always a lock every year, but everyone selects him very hesitantly. But I think he's a lock.
He's priced pretty high this year too.
I don't have him in my team.
I haven't started him, but I'd give him a few games and see how he goes from there as well.
Yeah, I think Toronto is the lock. Dunkley is going to be in a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, that third premium.
Cogs
is up in the air.
Yeah. How do you feel about Cogs? I'd like to lock him.
Cogs, I think is going to get a lot of midfield time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially with Toronto and Hopper leaving, he's going to fill that role, and there's talk about him already, just pure midfielder. So. For me, he's a lock.
Yeah.
Definite lock. He's got to have him in the team. He's a proven scorer.
Yep.
You can't risk.
With Hopper and Toronto going there, he has to pick up those CBAs as
definitely.
well. Yep.
He wasn't in my team, but just doing some research for today.
Yep.
I think I've changed my mind. I think
I
will be putting him in my team now.
No dramas.
Yeah.
Would that be all, guys, for that section?
That's it.
So
yeah. All right. Well, then we'll be moving on then. And let's discuss some rookie selections. I reckon Will Ashcroft will definitely be a lock for a lot of teams, especially from from this week, the way he played. You definitely want to be having him in your side. You guys?
Yeah, I think based on everything that everyone has spoken about him, he has to be in the team.
Yep.
He's got practice against mature bodies already because he played in the VFL last year. So based on everything going well, he's going to be in the midfield. He's going to be in there and he's going to play well. And I think everyone who doesn't have him will probably be behind.
Jeff, how do you feel about the number 2 draft pick?
It gives me the vibes I get from him is the Walsh and Dacos vibes.
Really?
You know what I mean? So it's a must-have. He's going to kill it. Like he's pedigree. His old man was a legend.
Yes.
So killed it in TAC. Like like you said, played with mature bodies already. Yeah, he's a lock. Can't wait to see him actually.
Yeah. Ross, you'll be selecting him?
Yeah, it's a lot of money to pay for someone who hasn't played for AFL, but I think selecting him, everybody's going to have him. Yep. So you've got nothing to lose if you don't select him, but there's a possibility of having a lot to lose if he starts absolutely destroying and getting a lot of points. So it's going to be hard to catch up if you don't have him.
Yeah, I think the positives outweigh the negatives massively. So it's, has to be.
And he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be a sub or anything. So he's going to be straight into that midfield playing.
Yeah, no drums.
Yeah.
One that I've been keeping my eye on in the defence is from the Suns, Constable, priced at 123,900. I think his role in the mid and defence is very, very well. He does run carry a bit as well. How do you guys feel about him?
Yeah, talk's been that I haven't seen how did he play in the practice game?
He did.
He did. So talks have been Drew's going to use him as a halfbacker and get him to be that running halfback sort of player, transition player. So yeah, I mean he's priced very low. At Geelong he killed it. So as a rookie, so yeah, I've got him in my team at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He was a lock, absolute lock last year in everybody's team, but fortunately we didn't get to see him last year. So I've got him in my team. Everyone should have him in the team. If he does play the halfback role, instant marks, running out onto the wing with the ball, I think he's going to be pretty SuperCoach friendly.
I think I'm only having him purely because he's not an actual rookie, but he's rookie price.
Mature age,
So that's the reason why I'm having him.
He's got a dual position as well.
Yeah, besides from that, I don't really know much about him, so I can't speak much about that purely because he's been on an AFL list. Now he's moving to the Gold Coast Suns, which most likely will give him a few games here and there, if not more games. So that's the reason why I'm having him. But that's all I know about him.
No drums. Anyone else I wouldn't bring up, guys?
Well, Ginby. Ginby or Jinby. Probably should know his name since he's at West Coast.
West Coast,
he didn't play in the first practice match against Port Adelaide, but that was just because they said that he had a sore toe. He had a sore toe, so
should be around, big raps on him. So
should be right for round one.
Big raps on him. They say they should be right for round one, and if he's fit, he'll start.
Yep.
So he's a massive body midfielder, and he will play midfielder at back, but he's also a dual position as well. So, but he probably play a lot of the time in the midfield as well.
Yep.
So they want to start breeding him into that kind of that midfield group of West Coast. So I think he should start, and everyone should have him as well.
Yep. I'll definitely be starting him.
To be honest, I had him in my team and I took him out because I had to make room for other players. 171,000. I thought maybe I can save 50,000 there to get another rookie and then upgrade someone else. So that's purely the reason I don't have him in my team.
Yep.
I've got to weigh up. Do I get him in my team again and lose somewhere else? That's what I've got to be thinking about before the season starts.
No worries. Will you be starting him, Shep?
I've got him in my team. Yep. I picked him straight away. First round pick. A lot of just reading up on him. Big raps. So and he'll play. Into that West Coast team. Some of the Kangas boys. So can be very popular this year.
Yes.
Will Phillips, I think, has to be in everyone's team.
I think so as well. Yeah, big raps around him.
Massive preseason. He missed all of last year with glandular fever. He was meant to have a breakout last year.
Yep.
Which didn't happen, but he's just smashing it preseason.
He's my M7 at the moment.
He's actually on the field.
He's at my M7.
He's definitely got to start on my field. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Has he got dual position? You guys said?
No, he's a midfielder.
He's
only a midfielder.
Yeah. Harry Sheasel's another good one, but I was speaking to Moose off camera before. He's going to be a machine. He's going to be a freak. Haven't been excited. Obviously, minus Juan Francis. I'm excited for a young start.
Yeah.
For a long time that I'm with this guy because big raps. Really clean. Kicks a lot of goals. But the problem is he's going to play forward a lot. So he's going to have to kick multiple goals to score well.
Yeah.
So I think his scoring's going to be, affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
But watch out for him. He's a good one.
190,000 too.
Yeah, I think it was pick 4. So pick 3. So
was that last season's or the year before?
Yeah, this season. Yeah, current draft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The drums. What about some some Hawthorn players?
Fergus Green in the forward line, 123,000.
Yep.
I think he's got to be a lock. He's going to get a game.
Yep.
He's going to be locked in that Hawthorn forward line with Gunston gone. What's his scoring potential? I don't think it's going to be really high.
Yep.
But we've got a player to generate some money and upgrade later on.
53 goals in the VFL last year, so he's
big raps.
Played with big bodies, mature age. Yeah, I think he's in. At least on the bench.
There was another player, is it Weddle or Weddle?
Weddle in the back line.
Yep.
Watching the pre-season, he didn't do very well. He had Blitzarves on him on the wing, and Blitzarves absolutely destroyed him, I think.
Yep. Just a big body.
Before that practice game, I thought he was an absolute lock. He may be coming in as a sub every now and then.
Yep.
That's what we've got to worry about with him.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I had him at the start as well, and then seeing that practice game, I felt a bit hesitant, so he's out of my side at the moment.
I don't think he's in my team. I don't think he's in my team at the moment. Yeah.
No, he's not. Couple of interesting players to look out for, I think, changing clubs as well. Oscar Baker, going from Melbourne to Doggies.
Yep.
Speaking to a lot of close Doggies supporters.
We'll get to see him next week, hopefully.
They reckon he'll play. Get some game time, so he's cheap. Tom Berry as well, going from Brisbane.
Tom Berry is my M8.
So, yeah.
Tom Berry is my M8.
Really?
What
a selection.
I think you're going to get him in, rank him going as well. He's going to just slot in there.
He's going to be that mid. He's going to be that mid forward.
Yeah.
There's high raps about him. Like Brisbane picked him up at 3 years ago at pick 37 or 30. So he's a second round pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he
was bigger rap than his brother. So just didn't work out there.
So I think I reckon he might have a big year.
Yeah.
And Toby McLean, everyone's going to have him.
I think everyone will have him. He's definitely a lock.
Speaking of players that swap clubs, there's a lot more. Corey Wagner, but is that Freo?
Freo.
Yeah.
And you got
Connor Blakely. Yep.
Conor McKenna as well is back.
Conor McKenna's back.
Yep.
So there's a lot of selections there we can go through. But
Blakely, I don't know about him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get a game.
Yeah, he wasn't even that good when he was at Freo, so. And he's older, he's not a young, he's not a youngster who probably couldn't worry way too much. He's actual proper,
Yeah, but then you got to think, what's Gold Coast doing? Why would they recruit an older player? Surely they get him to play.
Yeah, where is he going to play? I mean,
it just it could be just that they're tossing up between a really low, a really cheap contract to either someone who's played in the VFL or someone who's actually been in the AFL team to kind of get that maturity through to the other youngsters that they have in there.
They're going to beef up the squad as well. Right? They've been very thin in the last few years, so no depth. So they're going to build on that.
He might play and he might become good, right? But I don't know. He's had his chance. I don't think he's going to break out. I don't think he's a breakout player.
Yeah.
So.
Reports come out today. There's a Sydney rookie ruckman, McAndrew.
Yep.
So Hickey's out for 4 to 8 weeks. Laddams is out injured. This McAndrew guy is a forward ruck, 123, 210 centimetre player. They're saying ex-rugby or so player. So that's one
to play the first few games.
They might have the first few games.
So we've got a rookie ruckman. They're interchangeable with the forward line.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Right. Another thing to look out for. I was reading today. St Kilda's forward line shambles at the moment. Tim Membry injured. No guarantee for him to come back. Max King, not sure what's happening with his shoulder.
Yep.
Jack Hayes is obviously out. Paddy Ryder's gone now. There's a kicker called Philippou, I think. Mature age as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Played well in the practice game. He's probably going to come in because they've got no other forwards,
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's going to score. This is probably a key position forward, but he's definitely going to play the first few games.
Yeah, there was talk in the practice games where he did start off really slow, but then come into the game really well.
Yeah, kicked the goal from I think 55.
55 metres.
The highlights.
Big
He's got a good kick on him. But I might have to look out for. I think.
I don't know how much cash you guys got, but I feel like
we all start with 10 million, don't we?
Yeah, but what cash you got left over
I don't have much.
is Oscar Allen in that forward line.
Oscar Allen, what's he worth?
210,000.
I've actually got him in my side.
I had him at the start, but I've got rid of him.
He's been in and out on my side.
Has he? I've got him locked in.
People forget how good he is.
Yeah.
People forget how what kind of trajectory he was on the year before. You know what I mean? So he's going to be a superstar, and he may or may not be the number one forward for West Coast next year. Either that's Jack Darling or not, but he's a good contested mark. He'll kick goals. I was telling Chev the other day, I think 2 years ago, he was playing as a ruck, backman, and as a forward line, as a forward, and probably even on the wing as well. And he still kicked 25 goals or 20 odd goals,
That's
right? And he played all over the ground. So full time, I don't think Adam Simpson's going to risk him in the back or in the ruck. The back, they're pretty stocked already with Barris, McGovern, Edwards, Hearn as key back. Okay, so they're not going to put him back, and they're not going to risk him in the ruck. He's too precious now. He's going to play full-time forward, and he's going to kick goals. I'm putting it up there.
Guys, heard it here first. 30 plus goals is what he told me off camera. So
Oscar Allen.
and hold him to that. 30 plus goals.
I have a bet with someone that he's going to kick more than 30 goals next year, and he will. And he will.
I think you've got to get him in. If he's going to kick more than 30 goals,
he definitely kicks more than 30.
And he's not injury prone. Like he's only missed one season out of when he started, right? From as soon as he played, he missed last season because of a foot injury that they couldn't get him back on. So he's not injury prone. He's had one season off, and this is going to be his 5th season, right? So he's not injury prone, and it was just an unlucky season. He's going to be a gun. And people forget, but also because he's from Perth, people forget. They talk up Andrew, Aaron Norton. They talk up the King brothers. They talk up all the other young key forwards because they're people
Charlie
know
Curnow.
them. Charlie Curnow, all those guys, right? Because they're in Victoria or they're front and center. But people forget how good Oscar Allen is, and he will show it in the next few years, if not this year.
So drums, guys. Anyone else that we can bring up? Or?
Another, I guess, guy that's been in the AFL a couple of seasons is Nick Caulfield.
Oh,
in the back line
from Secure.
208,000.
Yep.
I think it could be a possibility where he's going to start scoring well. Like new coach comes in now. I don't think we saw much of him last season. So that's one to keep an eye on.
High draft pick as well, top 10.
Was he?
10,
Yeah. All right, guys.
I've got him in my team.
You've got him in yours? I haven't got him at the moment. You guys?
Not at the moment, no. But there's definitely someone I'm looking at, for sure.
All right, I think that's it then, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and have a lovely day.